Hello, are you my family?
You don't have a family and we're all going to die. Sorry.
Hello everyone and welcome to another video. As we all know, Resident Evil Requiem is now available, and I hope everyone is already enjoying the game. By looking at the thumbnail, you all must have come to know what the topic of today's video is going to be. We all know how much gamers love Windows 10, and there are many of us who don't want to move on to Windows 11. And Resident Evil Requiem is one of those first few games that makes you wonder whether you should update from Windows 10 to Windows 11 or not. However, Resident Evil Requiem isn't the first game to suggest Windows 11 as the minimum requirement. There are already some games releases with same operating system suggestion. However, Resident Evil 9 is arguably the first mega blockbuster, selling 5 million copies in its first week, to enforce this requirement globally, which is why it's causing so much discussion in the gaming community. So with this, I also thought, why not make a video on this, and see whether we get to see any performance difference on Windows 11 or not, or you are still fine on Windows 10. In today's test I am using Ryzen 5 5600X with NVIDIA's GTX 1660 graphics card, along with 16GB DDR4 RAM in dual channel configuration running at 3600 MHz, and I think that 16GB will be enough for today's test as we are going to do all the tests in 1080p resolution. Rest configuration you can see on screen. Before starting the benchmarking, let me mention that all the tests done with fully optimized Windows settings on both the Windows, like many useless telemetry settings, Windows Update, Auto Sync, bloatware stuffs are turned off or removed so we can get best performance possible. We will test the game in 3 different settings, starting with high graphics settings. These are the settings we gonna use in both Windows 10 and 11. Here you can see I kept most of the settings at high toggle. Also I am using FSR3 upscaling at performance mode to get the most performance out of our GTX 1660. So let's see how much performance difference have both the Windows. On high settings, Windows 11 shows a significant lead in raw average FPS, performing nearly 23% better than Windows 10. However, there is a sharp decline in the 0.1% lows on Windows 11, 22 FPS versus 31 FPS. This indicates that while the overall frame rate is higher, you may encounter more severe stuttering or sudden drops in fluidness during intense action sequences compared to the more consistent performance on Windows 10. Now we will test the game again, but this time at medium settings for both Windows. Here we are keeping hair strand setting on, even at medium settings, while the other settings we stay switched to standard or normal. Settings like depth of field and motion blur, we'll keep them off. At medium settings raw performance, or we say average FPS, is essentially a tie here, with Windows 11 leading by only 1 frame. Windows 10 shows a massive lead in 0.1% lows, 49 versus 34. This suggests that Windows 10 provides a much more stable frame time delivery, whereas Windows 11 is experiencing significant micro-stuttering during this test. If you are playing on a high refresh rate monitor, the 15 FPS difference in 0.1% lows will be quite noticeable, making Windows 10 the better choice. Now finally we will test the game at low graphics settings. Here we will now turn off the most demanding setting, hair strads. This one setting takes a lot of GPU resources. This specific setting enhances the visual quality of every character's hair texture in the game. But now as we're gonna test performance in low settings, so we will set almost every setting to low or turned off. Also this time we will set upscaling to FSR1 balanced mode. Now because we are on low settings, so it will leave more headroom in VRAM usage compared to higher settings. Because now we are no more GPU limited at low settings, so we gonna get higher FPS improvement, and this will make easy to get which operating system is performing more better. At low settings, both operating systems push well over 100 FPS on average, making it ideal for competitive high refresh monitors. Interestingly, Windows 10 maintains a stronger lead in frame consistency at these high frame rates. The 1% lows are 8.7% higher on Windows 10, and the 0.1% lows are roughly 6.7% higher. Across all our tests, high, medium, and low, a clear pattern has emerged that Windows 11 consistently provides a slightly higher average FPS. But if you want smooth gaming, then Windows 10 consistently delivers better minimum frame rates, 1% and 0.1% lows, resulting in a more stable and smooth stutter-free experience for Resident Evil Requiem. So, what's the verdict? Stay on Windows 10 if you want the smoothest, most consistent frame times. It is second best and stable operating system for gaming, because we all know how much we loved Windows 7, and nothing can replace that. And move to Windows 11 if you want the highest average FPS and ready to spare more time to make it more optimized for gaming. In my personal opinion, I will still be using Windows 10 because I think that Windows 11 still needs more improvement. It is still an inconsistent operating system. So now we know which Windows performs better in gaming. But we did not stop here. Our mischievous mind thought, why not try something else? So I decided to try Linux operating system. In past few years, after launches of many handheld gaming devices, especially Steam Deck, now Linux is emerging as a great operating system for gaming, and it is vastly supported by every type of devices, no matter if you have a high-end or a potato system. So then I also decided, why not try Resident Evil Requiem on Linux? But before we jump into Linux testing, we have a small problem. Because in Linux we get to see many different types of distributions like Catchy OS, Nobara OS, Steam OS, and many more distro in it. Every distro is suitable for different systems, like the hardware installed in every system is not the same. Some have AMD graphics card and some have Nvidia. Some distro are made for gaming, which are specifically gaming-centric, like Pop! OS and SteamOS, so they are especially for gaming. So, we had to select a distro for our specific gaming need and according to our hardware. So after doing some research I found out that for our system, Nobara and Pop! OS would be suitable for our system because we have Nvidia GTX 1660 in our PC, so both of them support Nvidia graphics cards very well and they come pre-equipped with essential drivers. But we could not install both of them together, so we had to choose the best one. After doing some more research, we found out that Nobara OS is the perfectly suitable distro for our system and need. So finally, after some installation and dual booting struggle, as you can see now we have the Nobara OS latest edition for our Nvidia-based GPU. I already have updated the systems and drivers to latest possible and have installed essential tools as well. As soon as I started to the game, with same high and medium setting that I used in Windows 10 and 11 comparison, I noticed that the performance is not up to the mark as both the Windows OS, even with the same settings. I kept everything similar to Windows test setting, I tried many fixes and troubleshooting driver and etc. but the result was same. What could be the reason behind this? So we did some research on it and we came to know that Linux typically takes more VRAM for the same graphical settings compared to Windows OS. It means if you have a low-end or a mid-tier GPU, then it will get limited and create bottleneck easily compared to Windows OS on same high settings. But why so? Why Linux do this? The simple answer is, games like Resident Evil Requiem are not officially Linux supported, and to run these Windows games Linux uses some translation support layer like Wine and Proton to run these games. Linux natively doesn't support any Windows games as of now. And because Linux needs this layers to translate Windows software and games, it takes more hardware resources like GPU and CPU. So our GPU is not much powerful and comparing the performance on high or medium settings it will not make any sense. So finally I decided to move to low settings, same as our Windows test, and doing so now our GPU is no more limiting factor in this test. Windows 11 remains the king of raw speed with 108 FPS. Interestingly, Nobara OS, Linux, actually edges out Windows 10 by 1 frame, reaching 103 FPS. This shows that the Proton compatibility layer is doing an incredible job translating the game's code. While Linux is highly competitive in average frame rates, it struggles more with consistency. The 0.1% lows on Nobara OS is 61 FPS, which is significantly lower than Windows 10's 81 FPS. Playing on Linux is very viable. You get Windows 10 level average performance, but you might experience slightly more frequent or deeper stutters compared to either Windows version. On low settings, Nobara actually beat Windows 10 in average FPS, hitting 103 frames. However, it's not all sunshine. The 0.1% lows dip down to 61. So, while Linux is officially game-ready for Resident Evil 9, Windows 10 still holds the crown for the most rock-solid, stutter-free experience. So what's your thoughts after watching all these comparisons? Are you still going to stay with Windows 10? Or want to try something new with Linux by getting out of Windows environment? Let me know in the comment section below. So that's it for this video. If you liked this video, then hit the like button and share with your friends. If you're new to this channel, then don't forget to subscribe. Thank you for watching. We will come back with another interesting video. Until then, goodbye and happy gaming.